He's young, he's gifted, now he's missing.
He was with his mates in Edinburgh, but walked off and hasn't come back.
Right now, live, your help is needed to find him. This is Missing Live. Once again, your help is needed to find just some of the 200,000 people who go missing in the UK every year.
And if you know anything about the cases you see on today's programme, the police and the charity Missing People are waiting to hear from you. The response from you already this week has been incredible. Joe from Missing People's here now. Joe,
Hi.
Stephen Cooper, the guy who went missing from West Yorkshire with the interesting bone disorder. I understand we had some good calls on that.
Yes, we have. We took a lot of calls on the helpline at Missing People, and we really just urge anybody else with any other information to call into us. But the police are looking into all of those sightings.
I remember that was quite worrying because his car was found 350 miles away, wasn't it, in Scotland?
That's
but then
right.
people are now phoning in possible sightings?
Yes, that's right, in Scotland as well. His car, as you say, was found in Lochlegan. And just such a worrying case because he just stood up, left all his belongings and effectively walked out of his life.
Absolutely.
So we just urge anyone to call in.
And it's also important to stress that your helpline is open 24 hours a day, so if anyone does have any information on that, or any of our cases, then of course get in touch as soon as they possibly can. Thank you, Joe. We'll be speaking to you later on.
Okay.
Yes, it goes to show your calls really do make a difference, and today your help is needed again. This man was meant to be spending his retirement with his family. Instead, he's gone missing, and no one knows why. Do you?
But first, a dad comes home to find his teenage daughter has disappeared. She has no money, and no one knows where she is. It takes 6 months to find her.
Danielle Nightingale is just 15. She lives in Hemel Hempstead, Hertfordshire. On August the 3rd last year, she ran away. It's now 5 months since she left. Her dad just wants her to come home.
My main worries are what she's up to. I mean, she's only 15 and she shouldn't really be out there on her own, really. You know, you don't know who she's with. You know, it only takes some nutter to team up with her because she'll trust people too much.
Although Danielle's parents split up when she was very young, she always spent a lot of time with her dad.
Danielle lived with her mum until she was 8. Then she come to live with us. And obviously I saw her all the time when she was younger. And she was very, very bubbly then every time she'd come up to see us.
Terry and Joanna are now married and they have a new baby. Danielle gets on well with her stepmum.
This is Danielle's scrapbook. It's where she keeps all sorts of bits and pieces. This is a photo of her dressed up as Glinda, the Good Witch of the North, because I had to go to school dressed as a character out of a film, and this is out of The Wizard of Oz. This is a picture of Danielle, Peter and Maria when she was very little. And these are some of the things that she's done at school and at home.
But over the last few years, Danielle started to rebel.
She always wanted to go to the skate park and come home at 11 o'clock at night. But, you know, any dad in the world wouldn't let that happen, really, like, to a 14-year-old.
She's also run away from home before.
The first time Danielle went missing was just for one night, and that was about the 22nd of May. And then gradually from then on, you know, she'd get picked up by the police or we'd find her down the skate park. And after then, she'd go away for a couple of days.
You don't know where she is and nobody's seen her. And it's the not knowing. The not knowing is the hardest part because you fear the worst.
At their wits' end, Terry and Joanna arranged counselling to help Danielle.
She seemed to have calmed down a little bit. And then on the Thursday, she came to work with me to help me out with some bits and pieces because we had a lot of administration work. And she seemed very happy.
That evening, Terry spends a bit of quality time with his daughter.
We had a good night that night. We watched Superman. And yeah, she'd have a good cuddle up.
August the 3rd last year. Terry and Joanna leave for work. Danielle's on school holidays. She sleeps in.
She got up, she obviously got to the post, and she opened a letter that had been addressed to her.
The letter contains personal information about her counselling, and it clearly upsets Danielle.
She spoke to me at work, and I promised her that herself, her dad and me would sit down and we'd discuss it, obviously, when we got home from work.
She had a paper round to do, so she did her paper round, and I think she was doing it. She's been spotted doing it with a couple of people and that, but we know that's the last time she was around here. She took off then.
Later, on Missing Live. There's a sighting of Danielle 30 miles away in London.
There was something going on up in Regent's Park and he spotted her amazingly. So that's how we knew she was out of the area.
And we'll be hearing more about what's happening with Danielle later on when her parents join us live in the studio. Also, the number as well, if you want to get in touch with the missing person, is on your screen now.
Mum of two, Elaine Tagert, was last seen on January the 3rd this year when she dropped a friend off in Brighton. Her red Fiat Punto was found at a nearby railway station the next day, but there's been no trace of Elaine since. We've got DI Wendy Barton with us. Wendy, what can you tell us about this case?
Well, it's a very unusual case. There doesn't appear to be anything in Elaine's life prior to her going missing that would make her disappear, and she just has not been seen by anyone. There's been no trace of her since her dropping her friend off, as you said, at 3:30 on the 3rd of January.
So that was the last confirmed sighting?
It's the last
was the
confirmed
friend,
sighting,
back
yeah.
all that time ago.
Yes.
So what's happened with this investigation so far then? How have you been able to try and track her movements?
Well, what we've done is we've done the usual search of her house and going through finding out her diaries and finding out about her friends and her family, and we've contacted all of those people that we're aware of, also her old friends in the TA, and so far nobody has heard from her at all.
Now, a good one that we used to use was tracing the old bank accounts.
Yes.
You can see if someone's taking money out, you can obviously plot where they are. Is that something you've tried?
We have tried that, and Elaine has got several bank accounts, but we believe she took a quantity of money with her when she went missing, but there's been no movement on her account since the 3rd.
Oh, no. So what about the car? Has that been recovered now?
The car's been recovered, and we also did house-to-house inquiries in the area where the car was found in Goring Street, but nobody saw her that morning, and the CCTV that we recovered from the railway station didn't show her either coming onto the platform or getting onto a train that day.
OK, well, best of luck with the appeal. I really hope that we generate some interest today and we get lots of calls and emails about that one.
Yeah,
OK.
thank you.
If you think you might have seen Elaine, please get in touch with West Sussex Police on 0845 60 70 999 and quote Elaine Tagert when you call.
On Tuesday, we told you about Alan Templeton, who went missing in Edinburgh. The last time anyone saw him, he said he'd be back in an hour. That was over a year ago. It's exactly a year since Alan disappeared. Dozens of his friends and family are together to watch a documentary he's directed. Alan spent months filming Socks in the City. It follows a campaign to save a laundrette run by the homeless in Edinburgh.
That I want to help other people because other people help me, and I want to give my own back to the community to help them.
Everyone who knows him wants to use the film to publicise his disappearance.
She came over at the festival a few years ago.
Alan's now 27 and he's got a brother and sister.
He was a very sunny little boy, very outgoing, joined the Cubs, loved it, joined the Scouts, loved it, and really all the way through had lots and lots of friends. I mean, some of the people we're still in touch with in Edinburgh have been his friends since he was 5. So he's been good at making friends and good at keeping them.
Alan's closest friends, Richard and Keith, have always spent a lot of time at the Templeton family home in the centre of Edinburgh.
This is number 22 Royal Circus. This is the house that Alan grew up in.
It's only 5 minutes away from both of our houses where we both grew up as well, so I think that's why we'd always known each other from such a young age.
And he had many parties around here, which was probably one of the anchor points for the social groups coming together. It was always fun to be had at his house as well.
10 years ago, Alan's family moved out of Edinburgh to the Lothian countryside.
This is the room that the boys usually come to when they're home. That was him when he was a little boy. He was 5 years old in that one. This one's Alan, this one's Kirsten, and this one's Callum. The three of them have stayed really, really good friends. Yeah, it's a huge, huge miss for the other two as well. What's happening?
Alan does well at school and leaves Scotland to go to university in Wales, where he studies media and film. After graduating, he goes back to live in Edinburgh, where he tries to get his film career off the ground.
He actually earned his keep by doing all sorts of pedestrian jobs, working in a sports shop, working in a restaurant, a pizza bar, a pub. But he seemed happy enough, to do each of these for a few months at a time. He said, well, he was a bit bored of, not of the kinds of jobs exactly, but he'd like to do them in a new setting.
He decides to move to France, where his sister Kirsten lives.
Alan arrived in Paris on the 14th of October 2004. I think he just felt that in Edinburgh it was too easy and he was stuck in a rut. And he didn't like that. He wanted to shake himself up a bit.
It's an exciting time for him. He finds a place to live and gets a bar job in the centre of Paris. He still plans to make films in France. He has a girlfriend and it goes well until early 2006 when they split up. Alan takes it badly.
That really shook him up and he went through a fairly hard time emotionally, and by October he was really depressed and not sleeping. And so we decided that the best thing to do would be for him to go home.
Still to come on Missing Live, Alan struggles to cope.
He looked at me with hunted eyes and he revealed that he had not slept a wink for 5 nights.
After a night out with friends, things start to go wrong.
When I came back that evening, he still wasn't back, and that's when we started to get a bit worried about him.
Alan's mum and dad will be with us in the studio next week, but if you think you know anything about what might have happened to him, please call Missing People on 0500 700 700. Calls are confidential and free from landlines. Mobile charges may vary.
Many more of you have been in touch with Missing People, so thank you for all your calls. And Joe, David Harrison, what have you got on that?
Yeah, David Harrison turned up in a care home about 8 years ago. We think he's suspected of a head injury or something, but he simply doesn't know who he is. He's working under an assumed name.
And now people have called in and said he might even be a relative.
That's right. We've had a considerable number of calls through to the charity Missing People, and we're just keeping our fingers crossed.
Well, fingers crossed we can find out who that poor guy is. Thank you.
Their teenage daughter is missing. She's spotted in London by her dad's friend, but it's months before she comes home.
Danielle Nightingale is just 15. She lives in Hertfordshire with her dad and stepmum. Over the last few years, she started running away from home, but she'd always come back after a couple of days. During the school holidays last year, Danielle gets a letter in the post that really upsets her. She runs away.
As soon as we realised that she wasn't at home, I went out to look for her in the car. All the other times that she's been missing, she's always been local in Hemel Hempstead somewhere.
Terry and Joanna search everywhere, but she's not with friends in the area. Just days later, she's spotted in central London.
One of my football friends saw her in Regent's Park. There was a big something going on up in Regent's Park, and he spotted her amazingly. So that's how we knew she was out of the area.
Terry's friend doesn't realise Danielle's run away and thinks she's just in London for the day. But for her family, this is serious.
And we had to ring the police immediately because it's a whole different perspective, her being missing in Hemel to her being missing in London.
The police start a missing persons search.
We've done a wide range of media appeals to try and locate Danielle, which includes poster appeals, TV appeals, radio appeals, to try and bring forward information on where Danielle is.
Other sightings are reported all over London. Police confirm Danielle has gone back to Regent's Park.
We know that she reattended there on the Sunday, the 5th of August, and went to Camden on the evening of the 5th of August. We then, from there, we know that on the Tuesday, the 7th of August, she was then in the Islington area of London, and that was established through witnesses that have come forward.
Since she's been away, the police have tracked her, and she's been in different areas and with different people. She'll stay with someone for a little while, then she'll move on.
The last sightings we have of Danielle have been in Tower Hamlets, and that was between the 4th and the 14th of December.
I think she's learnt how to be streetwise, but obviously, if she meets the wrong type of people, you know, there's no amount of streetwise can help a 15-year-old girl, really.
Every year there are thousands of runaways, and many end up in central London. They're at risk, especially if they're sleeping rough. Up to 10,000 of the missing teenagers in Britain are harmed or sexually assaulted.
It's a terrifying thought. It's such a big place, and you hear such horrendous stories of things that happen in London. So for us, it really brings it home. It's so real that potentially she could be putting herself in so much danger.
Danielle is among the 100,000 young people that run away from home every year. Jo from Runaway Helpline is here with us. Morning to you.
Good morning.
She was gone for 6 months, wasn't she? Is that common?
It's actually not common. It's only about 10% of runaways that will stay away longer than 4 weeks or more. The people that call our Runaway Helpline, run by missing people, will often want to make contact much sooner with family than that amount of time.
And where do they go?
Some people will stay with friends or with family, but it's about 20% of runaways will actually have nowhere to stay and will be out overnight and call into the helpline at 3, 4 in the morning, quite desperate.
You mentioned the helpline. Just briefly, what does it do then?
It's a confidential helpline. We're there 24/7. We will help people get back in touch with their family, their friends, and also maybe get in touch with the police if that's what they want to do, but try and get them somewhere safe. That's the main thing.
OK, Jo, thanks. And if you are a runaway, you can call that helpline on 0808 800 70 70. Calls are free, mobile rates may vary. Now, your help is needed to find another young runaway. 14-year-old Abigail Davenport went missing from Stockport in Cheshire just a couple of weeks ago. When she was last seen, Abigail was wearing a black coat and blue jeans. If you've seen Abigail or you know where she might be, please call Missing People on free phone 0500 700 700. Costs from mobiles may vary.
Now, earlier this week, we told you about 14-year-old Andrew Gosden. He still hasn't been found. He left his home in Doncaster 7 months ago, and the last confirmed sighting was from CCTV footage at King's Cross Station. Now, there have been some interesting calls already coming on in this, and DS Stuart Beardshall is on the phone to tell us how the search for Andrew's going. Now, hello Stuart, you there?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. What sort of new leads are you following up?
We've had several sightings since Monday that's obviously been phoned in through missing persons, which we're actively looking at the moment.
So any of those confirmed?
Not at the moment, Rav, no, not at the moment. We're in the process of securing CCTV for the relevant areas with a view to actually going through them and trying to find Andrew.
So do you think Andrew may well be still in London then?
We're quite hopeful that he will be. He does have connections, obviously family connections in the London area. He knows London, and obviously the only confirmed sighting we have of him is actually getting off the train in London.
Of course. So if anyone does see Andrew, what could your advice be to them?
Well, obviously, contact the relevant authorities as soon as possible, but we have had one lady who, with the foresight, took a picture of a young lad on her mobile phone. And it's proved to be a very good way of actually getting the picture straight through to the police.
Quick thinking, isn't it? Well,
yeah, it were very good, and we were able to get the picture downloaded and showed it to the family within a couple of hours, really.
Brilliant. I mean, obviously on that occasion it proved that it wasn't Andrew, but it's still quick thinking. If you think you know where Andrew could be, please call Missing People. The number's on your screen now.
Every night, one couple light a candle for their son who went missing nearly 18 months ago. 26-year-old Alan Templeton is an aspiring filmmaker from Edinburgh. When he graduates, he starts working to make ends meet. But what he really wants is a career in documentaries. So, he moves to Paris to make a fresh start. But 3 years later, after breaking up with his girlfriend, he decides to return to Scotland. His family notice a big change in him.
He became rapid in the way he decided, and he made appointments that he didn't keep. There was distress, and I remember going into his bedroom upstairs, and he looked at me with hunted eyes, and he revealed that he had not slept a wink for 5 nights in a row, and that is very acute. It was now fairly clear that he was not too fit.
He stayed with us here for about a month, and then said he was wanting to go back to Edinburgh and look for a job and look for a flat. And so we still felt he was a bit shaky emotionally, but we thought he was on top of it.
Alan goes back to live in Edinburgh and finds a job at the Halo Bar in the West End of the city. He seems to be getting his life back on track, but Alan still isn't happy.
The last few times saw Alan, he didn't enjoy everything around him quite as much. He still joked and had fun, but there seemed more of a seriousness about him.
On Saturday, the 25th of November, he arranges to go to a rugby match in Edinburgh with a friend from London.
I arrived up in Edinburgh on midday on the Saturday, and the plan was to meet up with Alan and go and see the game. I couldn't get in touch with Alan, and he had my tickets that he'd bought for me. Couldn't get in touch with Alan throughout the afternoon, so in the end I just sort of stuff it. I came up to watch the game. I'll go and watch the game with or without him. Went along and saw the game by myself. Got a call from Alan towards the end of the second half. I was just finishing up. He said, he just didn't offer any excuse. And said, we'll catch up for a drink afterwards. So walked back up to the town centre of Edinburgh. Had a couple of drinks, started chatting.
Instead of going to the rugby as he's arranged, Alan spends the day alone at Granton Harbour, a local beauty spot.
At that point, it was sort of a bit clear that he was a little bit, out of sorts. Throughout the night, he was pretty quiet. It was sort of noticeable towards the end that he was sort of drawing back.
That evening, Alan goes back to the flat he shares with his friend Bob in the centre of Edinburgh.
When I woke up in the morning, Alan was awake, and we decided to go to the shops to get something to have for breakfast. I went round quite quickly and got what I wanted and went up and paid for it. I looked round to see where Alan was, and he was still wandering up and down the aisles, and he was being a bit distant. It was a bit strange. I was waiting for him at the front door, and he was taking ages, and eventually he came out and he hadn't bought anything, and he said, like, I'm just going to go to my friend Neil's and get something there.
At 11 in the morning on Sunday, the 26th of November last year, Alan leaves Bob outside the supermarket.
I went off with my brother and we went to a football game, and when I came back that evening, he still wasn't back, and that's when we started to get a bit worried about him.
Early that evening, Bob calls Alan's parents, and they haven't heard from him either.
We tried the 2 or 3 other friends we knew in Edinburgh that he might be with, and he wasn't with any of them. And so in the course of the next 24, 48 hours, we contacted the police.
Later in Missing Live, is Alan still in Edinburgh?
There was a big flurry in April in Edinburgh when about 6 people thought they'd seen him.
Are the police getting closer to finding him?
Staff at the Halo Bar in Edinburgh had looked out through the glass-fronted window and saw a male standing outside on the pavement.
We'll have more on Alan's story later, but if you think you know anything about what might have happened to him, please call Missing People. The number's on your screen now.
Let's get an update now from Missing People. Jo, have you had any new leads since we've been on air this morning?
Yeah, the charity tells us that they have been taking calls about Elaine Tagert, and they've been passed straight on to the police. They're looking into those now.
That's very interesting because police had only had a few calls, hadn't they, from previous appeals?
That's right. I mean, we're really encouraged to have those calls, and we just say to anybody out there, please call in.
OK, so let me remind you of that number again. It's 0500 700 700. Calls are free. Mobile rates, though, may vary.
Just 11 days ago, 64-year-old Alfred Tidy went missing from Stockton-on-Tees in Cleveland. Alfred left without any money or the medication he needs, and people are really worried about him. He's 5'8", has receding grey hair and speaks with a slight southern accent. So if you've seen Alfred or know where he may be, please call Missing People on free phone 0500 700 700. Mobile costs may vary.
A teenager has been missing for months, but one phone call changes everything.
Danielle Nightingale is just 15. She lives in Hertfordshire with her dad and stepmum. Over the last few years, she started rebelling.
She always wanted to go to the skate park and come home at 11 o'clock at night. But, you know, any dad in the world wouldn't let that happen, really.
Then in August last year, she ran away from home. A family friend sees her in central London.
There was something going on up in Regent's Park and he spotted her amazingly. So that's how we knew she was out of the area.
Over the following months, Terry and Joanna make numerous trips into the capital. But every time there's a sighting, it seems Danielle is one step ahead of everyone searching for her. Then, in February this year, her dad gets a call from police in Kent. Finally, after 6 months, Danielle's been found. She's in the seaside town of Margate. She's spotted on the street and picked up by patrol officers. It's a week later, and Danielle's back with her family in Hertfordshire. Everyone's relieved she's safe and well, but only Danielle really knows what happened and why she left.
I did miss everybody when I was away, especially my little brother. And it's really good to be back home.
It's great now that Danielle's back. Obviously, all the family's back together, and we're doing the things that we always used to do. Dinners together. Tomorrow we're all going to the zoo. So no, it's just fantastic that she's home.
Well, when I was away and everything, it's just seems pointless compared to everything I need is here, really. There is nothing more exciting out there than what is here.
Cheers, everybody.
Oh, hey. Cheers.
Danielle's dad, Terry, and stepmom, Jo, join us now. Morning to you both.
Good morning. Terry,
how did you cope over those 6 months?
Well, it was very difficult. Obviously, we didn't know where she was to start with. But eventually, she, with help from the police and missing people, you know, we tracked her around. So obviously that gave us a lot of good feelings.
And she always seemed to be kind of one step ahead of the police as well. Did that make it harder for you?
Actually, it was hard, but I think it helped. We had positive sightings of her. We knew she was okay, she was well dressed and fed. So we knew that she was safe, although she wasn't home with us.
You did your own searches as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it was especially locally. But yeah, we went to London a few times and had a look round, but obviously...
It's so hard.
Impossible.
It's such a big place and there's so many people that it is tough.
Also, she was gone for 6 months. Where was she during those 6 months?
For half the time she was in London, where she originally went, and for the latter part she was in Margate.
And what do you think it was that led to her actually going? Because she'd gone before, but not for a long time, hadn't she, Terry?
Well, she did receive that letter from social services, which just had negatives in there, really, which we was a bit disappointed about. But yeah, so it's hard to tell, you know, growing up, rebellion and all that. Yeah.
So what advice, Jo, would you give to other parents who are perhaps in a similar situation?
The hardest part is talking, I think. It's very easy to not listen to what teenagers are saying to you, and sometimes they say things you don't want to hear. But if you can sit down and talk to them and listen to them and try and explain your side of the story as well, it's really helped now that she's home.
What's she like now? How is she doing now, Terry?
She's actually doing much better than before. You know, she seems more concentrated. And yeah, she's looking forward. She goes to Scouts now, and yeah, she's, you know, really doing well.
And she's back at school as well, isn't she? How's her studying going?
She is. She's doing really well. She's had to do a lot of catch-up on her coursework, but she's due to sit some of her GCSEs this summer.
And when, if other parents as well are watching, when do the alarm bells go off, do you think, Terry? When do you think, well, actually, she's gone missing a couple of times, perhaps you should be doing something about it?
Well, it is difficult for the parents, because we tried different techniques when she went before, you know, trying to, you know, be loud and aggressive and, you know, trying to let her know how dangerous it is, but, you know, and then being nice and, you know, nothing seemed to work. Maybe it's deep down in her feelings, you know, whatever comes out, comes out.
So things are different now, are they?
Oh, yes, they're much different. She seems more settled in herself and like she said herself, she's glad to be home. You know, the things that she needs are all around her.
Thank you very much for coming here and telling us your story. If you've been through what Terry and Jo have, or have a runaway yourself, perhaps if you are a runaway, you can email us at missing.live@bbc.co.uk, or you can write to Missing Live, PO Box 63814, London N1 1HF.
He was set to enjoy retirement and the great outdoors, but one day he went for a walk and never returned.
August 2004, Brian Watson is being treated at a hospital in Derby when he walks out of his ward and disappears. Brian lives in Heanor, a small Derbyshire village, with his wife Susan. The couple has 2 grown-up children. While recovering from a routine hernia operation, Brian starts to get depressed.
4 months after the operation, and it was then that he started to go downhill. It played on his mind so much that the depression set in. And the doctor came to him, and that's when he said he'd got clinical depression. Brian decided himself that he'd be admitted to hospital.
After weeks of treatment in Derby Hospital, Brian doesn't seem to be making much progress.
I just remember going up to him and giving him a hug, and he just held on to me for a little bit longer than he would normally have done. But after that, he was trying to be Dad, but he was very subdued.
A week later, things come to a head.
I got a phone call from Derby City Hospital asking me if I'd seen my dad.
Brian is immediately reported missing to Derby Police.
It is very important with missing persons. It's called the golden period. Most missing persons are found in the first 48 hours.
But despite an extensive search of the area around the hospital, there's no sign of Brian. The police inquiry goes nationwide. Then, 8 months after Brian's disappearance, his mother-in-law dies.
1 or 2 people had been in the cemetery and they thought they'd seen Brian at my mum's grave. They said he'd got a hood up, you know, he'd got a coat on with a hood on it, so you only saw part of his face.
One person actually spoke to Brian and knew of him. Another person stated that although they knew Brian and they spoke to him, it was described that he stared straight through them.
There have been a number of unconfirmed sightings of Brian in the area over the past 4 years, but he's never returned to his family.
Whether he is frightened to come back home because of what people might say or think, and he thinks that, you know, why should I come back now? Because they've worried so long about me. Well, they want me, you know, and we just want him to know that we do, you know, very much.
If you know anything about what's happened to Brian, then please get in touch with Missing People on 0500 700 700.
Shahira Oza has been missing from Manchester since last November. She's 51. She's originally from Mauritius. Police think Shahira may also be going by her previous surname, Mungru. Her disappearance is totally out of character and everyone, especially her daughter, would like to hear from her. If you have any information regarding her whereabouts, please contact Greater Manchester Police on 0161 856 2234.
Alan Templeton said he was off to a mate's house, but he never arrived.
26-year-old Alan Templeton is an aspiring filmmaker from Edinburgh. After spending 3 years in Paris, he breaks up with his girlfriend and returns to Scotland. On the 26th of November 2006, his family and friends worry when he doesn't come home.
We tried the 2 or 3 other friends we knew in Edinburgh that he might be with, and he wasn't with any of them. And so in the course of the next 24, 48 hours, we contacted the police.
The police try to retrace Alan's movements. By tracking his mobile phone, they pinpoint the location he makes a call from on the day he goes missing.
Police investigations have shown that Alan was in the Crags Bar in Dalkeith Road in Edinburgh around 2:30 p.m. Inquiry hasn't really shown any reason why he was there, but we do know he was in that bar. And that is the last known position we can have of him.
Nobody knows where Alan goes when he leaves the bar that day. But in the following months, there are a number of unconfirmed sightings reported across Scotland.
There seemed all kinds of possible leads, and then there was a little flurry of activity in Aberdeen when 2 people thought they saw him, and then there was a big flurry in April in Edinburgh when about 6 people thought they'd seen him, and 2 of them knew him, 2 of them had worked with him.
Of all the possible sightings, it's this one, 5 months after Alan disappears, which seems the most credible.
Staff at the Halo Bar in Edinburgh had looked out through the glass-fronted window and saw a male standing outside on the pavement, and one of the barmaids thought it was Alan. Her and the bar manager ran outside and had a look, and by this time the figure had started to walk away. Unfortunately, they didn't call on him or shout his name, and they were fairly convinced it could be Alan. However, again, that's unconfirmed and we've never been able to trace that person.
Since April 2007, there have been no more sightings reported. It's now 18 months since Alan disappeared.
I miss everything about Alan. I think there's just, even when he was annoying, it's still...
It's very endearing.
Yeah, it meant a lot to have him around. And he probably never knew how much it meant to other people to have him around. But
yeah, I think that's probably the biggest tragedy of it all, is that I don't think he quite knows how many people held him in such high regard.
Alan's mum and dad refuse to give up hope that he'll come home.
I miss a great bulk of a body to clutch. You know, meeting him off the train, you know, with 2 rucksacks or more.
There was a sense of life about him, you know, just a very positive enjoyment of life. And it's very empty without that there and not knowing if you're going to have it again.
We'll bring you more on that case next week. Missing people are waiting to hear from you, so if you think you know what's happened to Alan, please get in touch. The number is on your screen now.
We're nearly out of time, so here's a quick recap of the people that are still missing.
Yes, 14-year-old Andrew Gosden, he was last seen in London. Your help is still needed to find him. We've had a call this morning with a recent potential sighting.
Excellent. Alan Templeton was spending the weekend with friends in Edinburgh when he went missing. He hasn't been seen since November 2006. However, a couple of you have started to call in already and give us some useful leads on him, which is great.
And Abigail Davenport as well. She's a 14-year-old runaway that you're asked to look out for. She went missing from Stockport in Cheshire just a few weeks ago. We've had calls on that as well since we've been on air.
It's totally out of character, but 51-year-old Shahira Ozza disappeared from Manchester in November 2007. Sadly, the calls don't seem to be flooding in on her, so if you've got any information on her or any of the others, please get in touch with us here or phone Missing People on 0500 700 700.
Yes, thank you for all those calls this morning. Really great to be getting calls on Andrew Gosden as well. We will remind you of those numbers, those stories next week when we're on air too. So that's all we've got time for today. On Monday's show, we're going to bring you news on all of the appeals so far, plus the story of 26-year-old Stephen Hadley. He left the house he rented with friends one day. They haven't seen him since.
And there'll be more on Elaine Tagert. Her car's been found at a railway station, but what's happened to its owner remains a mystery.
Actress Linda Bellingham, who stopped her mum from going missing, is also going to be here. So thank you again for all of your calls.
Remember, Missing People's phone lines are open 24 hours, but we'll see you on Monday morning at 9:15.
Bye-bye.